What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Today's Tech with Lando, where I discuss my experiences with today's tech. Now, if you're new, grab the snacks, crack a cold one, hit the subscribe button while you're at it, and stay tuned because today we're going to take a dive into what I like to call the near-perfect wrist companion, Galaxy Watch Active 2. So the Galaxy Watch Active 2 is absolutely the most complete Samsung smartwatch to date, and as it should be given the fact that it is the latest. And as a prior owner of 4 Samsung smartwatches, starting with the Gear 2 Neo back in like 2014, the Gear S2 Classic, the Gear S3 Frontier, and the Galaxy Watch, I have definitely observed the evolution of Samsung smartwatches as they've become, I would say, the option for Android users. And with the Galaxy Watch Active 2, there are 5 notables off the bat. So the first notable is the touch bezel. So I'm sure you've noticed that there is a lack of a physical bezel, which is something that was, I would say, a staple on previous smartwatches from Samsung. And I think it was a bold and necessary move. It kind of adds like a subtle but stealthy look to the watch and gives it just a little bit of a slimmer profile. And I like it, to be honest. It took a while for me to get used to it. I found myself reaching for that physical bezel to try and rotate to obviously it wasn't there. But I've definitely gotten used to the touch bezel, and I must say I do like it just a little bit more. Now, it works by dragging your finger around the outer edge. There's like a pretty thick black bezel there, but that is the touch sensitive region, and you just drag your finger around that edge and it gives you just a nice vibration as you do so, and there's something very satisfying in that, I will say. Now, one of my favorite notables is the very slim, sleek, and light frame. Okay, this guy's rocking a 44mm case that I would argue takes up less space on your wrist than any other high-end smartwatch. And one of my favorite features of Samsung watches is that they look like actual watches as opposed to the rectangular look you get with the Apple Watch, which is easy to tell it's not a regular watch. Now, with the Samsung, when someone sees that on your wrist, they assume it's just a typical watch until you start interacting with it. And then in that moment, that surprised look on their face is absolutely priceless. So overall, I think it's just very subtle, and it's a nice contrast from the much larger, bulkier smartwatches we've seen from Samsung in the past. So it has universal 20mm straps, which means you can go out and purchase any 20mm watch band and accessorize the heck out of this thing. In fact, I'm actually rocking the white Samsung Fluoro Elastomer band along with the Speaking cover and Zag screen protector. And I definitely highly recommend all 3 just for a little bit of added durability and style, and I'll make sure to drop the links in the description below. Now, I also have no complaints about the buttons. They're very, very tactile, and because they're different shapes, it's much easier to identify which button you're pressing, which was something in the past that was a little bit of a problem with both buttons being exactly the same shape. Now, the third notable is the 1.4-inch AMOLED display that slightly kind of melts towards the edges, revealing a semi-thick black bezel that is the touch-sensitive region responsible for navigating the interface. And like I said before, the touch bezel design tweak did take some time to get used to, but it allowed Samsung to expand the display and give us just a little bit more to look at. And to me, the larger the screen, the better. And also, as you'd expect from Samsung, the viewing angles are excellent. You can literally see all the information you need, no matter how you look at it. And it gets adequately bright enough outdoors, so in every environment, you're good to go. So the fourth notable is the battery life, which I've seen no more than 2 full days without needing a charge. And I wouldn't call myself a power watch user, but I do receive all notifications through the watch while tracking workouts, so I am engaging with it quite a bit throughout the day. Mind you, I do also wear it every night for the sleep tracking capabilities, and then I just charge it while I'm getting ready in the morning. And depending on whether I get up on time, it can charge to 100% or very close to it. And speaking of sleep tracking, that's one of the many great features of One UI. It keeps track of the average time you wake up, the average time you go to sleep, the length of time that you are asleep, the length of time that you are in each stage of sleep, including light sleep, REM sleep, and deep sleep, and it measures the efficiency of your sleep session. So I absolutely do use that to determine how to adjust my schedule for a better night's sleep. So in addition to the sleep tracking, you'll also have automatic workout tracking for 9 common exercises, walking, running, swimming, cycling, and so on. And if you're into hiking, it's also got an altimeter and barometer. Now, one of my favorite features though is the inactive time alerts. So throughout the day, the Active 2 is going to monitor your movements, and if you've been still for roughly 50 minutes, you'll get an alert suggesting that you take a walk or complete one of the 3 brief exercises that it recommends. And seeing as though I am sitting most of the day, I absolutely take the advice. Now, last but not least, the interface is extremely friendly. Okay, you can either swipe to navigate or you can use the new touch bezel. It's got some dope live wallpapers, which is a first for Samsung smartwatches. It even has some always-on watch faces, but sadly, the ones that I like look cool when you're looking at it, but then they become extremely basic and boring as soon as you turn your wrist away. Now, it also has a movie theater mode, which I'm not sure any other non-Samsung smartwatch has, but the feature makes sure that your watch doesn't disturb the theater audience by enabling silent mode, disabling always on, and also disabling the wake up gestures. And me being an AMC Stubs A-list member, I use this feature weekly. And last but not least, we have good night mode, which is also a feature that I use on a regular basis. So good night mode turns on automatically based on when you fall asleep, and it will disable notifications, wake up gestures, touch wake up, and of course it leaves on all your alarms. So basically this thing is feature packed just like its smartphone counterpart from Samsung. Now of course every product has its areas of opportunity, so here are my 2 cents. First and foremost, I'd like to see better always on support similar to the Apple Watch. On the Active 2, it is entirely limited to the watch face. Like I mentioned before, here's a cool wallpaper and it looks great while the screen is active, but however, when the screen goes into the always on mode, the watch face loses all coolness and it's dumbed down to this. And I must say, it's just very disappointing. Now, the second thing I'd like to see improvement on is the vibration motor. I cannot tell you how many times I have set a timer and not felt the vibration when the time was up. And those of us that use the watch as an additional alarm and wear it throughout the night, we could greatly benefit from a stronger vibration motor. And lastly, I'd like to see better communication between my watch and my phone. I have several reminders set on my Note 10 Plus, soon to be S20 Ultra, throughout the day, and when I receive the reminder on my watch, there's an option to complete or snooze the reminder. However, when I press complete, it's actually hit or miss as to whether it will actually dismiss the reminder on my phone. Now, I would assume the integration between the watch's Tizen OS versus the phone's Android OS is the culprit, but we will never know for sure. Oh, and before I forget, I also would like to see some improvement on the voice input software. And it's not Bixby, I don't know what it is, but it's something from Samsung, and it is terrible. On the phone, it's just fine. It uses Bixby to do the voice input, but on the watch, I don't believe that it is Bixby, and it is terrible. I was just trying to send a message just now, and it was not making out what I had to say. So that's absolutely something I'd like to see improvement on so that I can get a little bit more functionality out of the watch in the future. So all in all, the final conclusion is that the Galaxy Watch Active 2 is an absolutely outstanding smartwatch from Samsung, and I do believe that it is the best yet. It does just about everything you'd expect from a device acting as an extension of your phone. And as I said, there is always room for improvement, and that is exactly what makes the Active 2 the near perfect wrist companion. Alrighty guys, thank you all for watching. If you liked my review, then obliterate both the like button and subscribe button, and make sure to hit the bell to be notified when I upload more videos discussing my experiences with today's tech. Peace and love.